respectful decorum and giving everyone the opportunity to speak peacefully. I ask that with our delegation or large crowd today in the gallery that we continue that decorum throughout the meeting. I have found in the past when even small whispers are happening in the gallery, they can travel. This room is not very good acoustically, so even the smallest sounds do come across. So we will move along with our agenda to our first and only delegation today. There we go. 8.1, Dale Sundberg and Peter Larley from the Pickleball Association. Welcome, gentlemen. You'll have 5 minutes.
Very good. Good evening. My name is Peter Larley, Vice President of the Pickleball Association, and I'm joined with Dale Sundberg, a Director of QPA. Our Board of Directors wishes to thank you for allowing us to appear again with respect to the establishment of a pickleball facility on city-owned land. We'd also like to thank city staff for their time and effort on this endeavor. I refer you to our letter of 6 November 2005 sent to council and staff and attached to the agenda of this meeting. This letter requests a reconsideration of the recommendation made by the Standing Committee on City-Owned Property for a pickleball facility. We do appear before you this evening with some apprehension. We're very grateful for the city's that the city has seriously considered a request for city-owned land for a pickleball facility. And we're also appreciative of the fact that council struck a committee for this purpose. And we're thankful that a property was identified. Our concern now is that the property identified, the Timberlane property, as recommended by the Standing Committee, may not be the best and most suitable location for a pickleball facility here in Powell River on city land. Our purpose this evening is to highlight a few points and bring some new information to your attention. QPA, that Pickleball Association, is committed to raising the funds necessary to build a pickleball facility. This effort has begun. We've set up a standalone bank account that currently has a significant balance solely for the purpose of constructing the facility. We've had a number of successful fundraising efforts, and more efforts are planned. Once a location is confirmed, we'll step up our efforts by seeking grants from governmental and non-governmental entities. We'll be seeking tax-deductible donations from individuals, and we will issue interest-bearing debentures to our members. We currently have about 170 members in the Cathet Pickleball Association. Given our commitment to this endeavor, we don't want to get it wrong. We don't want to build at the wrong location on a site that will not contribute to our future success. The Board of Directors firmly believes that the recreation complex site on Joyce is the best and most suitable location for our facility. The complex is now the center for major recreational activities in our community. This site, the complex site, is centrally located. The proximity of a pickleball facility at the complex site would enable pickleball players to rely on the services of the complex, thereby increasing usership of the complex facility. The directors of QPA have committed to building a pickleball facility in such a way that the building could be utilized for other purposes. Nets can be quickly removed, allowing for an open space of approximately 21,000 square feet. This open space could be used for other purposes, such as overflow facilities for complex events, or as an emergency center or muster point in the event of a local emergency or disaster. The complex site also has a close proximity to the hospital, and a complex located pickleball facility would be available for relocation of patients or equipment if events occurred that required additional facilities. Finally, I would like to note that QPA has recently conducted a poll an opinion poll open to the general public through our website and via an email to all of our members. The first question asked to respondents in the poll was to indicate which site they would prefer, the Powell River Recreation Complex site or the Timberlane site. As of this morning, we had 155 responses. 81.3% of those respondents indicated they preferred the complex site. 18.7% of the respondents indicated the Timberlane site. In addition, we provided an optional area for respondents to include any general comments. Of the comments received, the majority were in favor of the complex site, with three major themes emerging: suitability of location, access via transit, and integration with current amenities. So these were repetitive comments that came up. Other comments that came up were cost efficiency of construction at the complex site.
Mr. Larley.
Yes.
I just wanted to give you note the 5 minutes has come up. Can you wrap up in 30 seconds, please?
Yes. The fact that families can visit one site and participate in various activities at the same time, and an easier build location. That concludes my comments. Thank you very much again for the time, and we'd be happy to take any questions.
Thank you very much. Does anyone from council have questions for the delegation? Mr. Councillor Elliott.
Thank you, Chair. I believe Councillor Isaacson also had her hand up. My question is, were either of you on the committee that made the recommendation? And can I ask a question about the conversations? I assume that both of these locations were part of the conversation of that committee, and they landed on the other one. And so I'm curious about why they thought that other location was better. And I think it has to do with maybe the rec center site not being as easy and fast to make determinations on as opposed to the single. So timing was an issue.
So we were both on the committee, and the first general roundabout through the table, we talked about the complex site, and there was comments made about the suitability of that site for some reasons that Mr. Bretzlaff put forward. Others talked about positively, and then the conversation came up about looking for a plan B. Right, so to look for another site, based on the fact that it wasn't sounding very good for the complex property, right? And the community use down the road for that property was.
Mr. Sundberg, if you can just speak a little closer to the microphone.
Right. So community use of that property down the road for possible facility use. Based on what's happening at the complex. The end of life conversation came up a few times, right? Which, fair enough. That's an opinion, but we were kind of led away from the complex, and in our opinion, when we started looking at it and looking at the Timberlane property and the reconfiguration of the footprint of the building that we originally came to council with, we changed that as well, trying to make the footprint smaller, right? So we reconfigured, and if you look at that picture that's up on the screens right now, that small rectangle is the size of the facility that we're looking to build. The large rectangle is the actual footprint of the complex today. So I superimposed that onto that piece of property based on the fact that we were talking about there's not enough land there to build both facilities. Well, if we look at that chunk of land, that small rectangle that represents our building can be put anywhere on that property, right? And if there's future uses that are needed, there's still a lot of property available. And if we were ever to build another complex as nice as the one we got on that property, we'd be very lucky. But I think we're all realists when it comes down to it, that we wouldn't be building a building like we have today. So what we're asking is to reconsider the complex property. Let's put a little bit more thought into it and do it right the first time. And, you know, I think we've been getting pushback from pretty well everybody that we've tried to lobby on well, we've talked to a lot of the council chamber. We've talked to business folk around town that we're going to be talking to about sponsorship, and the same question keeps coming up. Why not the complex? Why not the complex, right? Our members, we go to our members and our members saying, why not the complex? And we're here to say, yeah, why not the complex, right? We never really got a solid reason why it can't be the complex.
I'll counter that with saying you got a reason. Whether you choose to make it solid or not is dependent on how you feel. So the reason that I shared at that meeting, and Mr. Bretzlaff has shared, so a couple things. There is the concern with the ammonia plant at the complex, and there's the reason why on the capital plan right now is a potential move of the horseshoe pit that is situated right next door to the complex, and that has not been finalized. It's been on the project plan for multiple years. So that is part of it. The second part that I shared multiple times in our pickleball committee meetings was we don't have a master plan for that complex site in general. Our complex celebrates 50 years coming up next month, I believe, and we don't know what is going to happen to that facility in the next 10 to 15 years. If we had a plan that encompassed whether we were growing, staying, building, whatever it might be, I would love to have that there and have the pickleball court as part of that plan. But that plan is probably 3 to 5 years out if we were to start it today. We don't have that plan now. I wish we could go back in time, get councils from 2 terms ago to get that ball rolling, but we haven't done that yet. QPA wants something as soon as possible. And in my opinion, the easier way to do that is to find a property that would have probably little other use. And I looked at other properties. I talked to Director Gao a couple of times. We had other environmental concerns at other properties. I suggested even a private building would actually be the fastest way to do it if there was one around. I was actually waiting to see what the assessment of our pool was, because if it came back that our pool was not going to be feasible for the next couple of years, I was like, well, let's level it and throw a pickleball court over there. That could have worked too. You know, trying to think outside the box. But I think without having a master plan to what that facility is, even though that only takes up a little bit of space, we don't know how we need that space in 5 or 10 or 20 years, that I think it'd be premature to put anything in there right now. So we don't need another answer, Mr. Sundberg. We've got 2 other questions. I've got Councillor Isaacson and Councillor Palm.
Yeah, thank you. My question actually was already asked by Councillor Elliott, but one thing I wanted to add, 2 actually things I wanted to add. One is just for your own clarity, we don't make motions immediately as a result of delegation. So if there was any motion as a result of your delegation, it would happen at a future meeting. So just so that you know what to expect tonight. And the other thing that I wanted to add is, you know, there have been conversations in this community broadly for quite a few years on the role of the regional district in our recreation complex, and those questions aren't answered, and any actions that might impact the relationship with the regional district on the future of recreation planning in our region is a risk to me. And so I would also hesitate to focus on the rec complex side at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Palm and then Councillor Southcott.
Yeah, I did have a specific question, and that is of staff. We have asked for a report on the potential site by Timberlane. How soon might that be coming to council as a report?
Through the chair to Councillor Palm. Yes, staff are currently working on a report related to the resolution council made earlier this year. You know, ideally we were going to have it before the end of this year, but this news throws a bit of a curveball into our plans. But we were prepared to come forward with an initial report. It wasn't going to be the complete report. It was going to highlight some of the challenges with the Timberlane site that need to be overcome if that's the site that's going to be pursued. But hope that answers your question.
Yeah, so that is a key piece of information that needs to come forward because we can't make any decisions until we get that report. We did vote on the particular site by Timberlane. That's still in the works and part of the plan. But, you know, and knowing where the community is and having heard some of the concerns around that particular site in terms of actually who owns the trees on it, how much is it going to cost to de-stump and all the rest. There are multiple questions that are come forward and going to be addressed in that report. That site might not be suitable at all. And that's that's just fact. So until we get that, it's really hard to say where we're going to go and what we're going to do. But I, as a particular councillor on the committee with these fine gentlemen, I am in support of the complex site. I'm sorry to say, I abide with what the people are interested in seeing, and we should take care of that ammonia problem so that that site can be fully utilized, because that is for recreation in our community. So I just want to say thank you, gentlemen, for coming here tonight, and a great presentation.
Thank you, Councillor Southcott.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I do appreciate you coming. There's no doubt at all around this table as to how important pickleball is to a lot of people in this community. I don't know if it would even be necessary because staff obviously have this letter because it came to us, but and it's probably out of order to suggest making a motion to refer this letter to staff for their consideration in the report that we're coming. And if it is out of order, then I'll just make a notice of motion to it. But I'm pretty confident that staff would be considering this letter. That's probably the question. Am I wrong about that? Through the chair to staff.
Well, we've already given staff direction for the report, and I believe we can address this along with the staff report that comes in and then make a determination from that point what direction we want to go. Obviously, we would have to, anything we do today would be to push it to the next council meeting for a decision there. And since the report's coming, which might come in one of the council meetings before we break for the Christmas season, I'd say we're going to be discussing this topic again sometime in the near future, that we'll have the opportunity to address this topic at that time with more information in front of us. Councillor Dope.
I just want to say thank you for the work that you guys have done about this, and I think everybody will take into consideration what we're doing. I think there's a lot of people around the table at the front here among the councillors who think perhaps the complex site would be a better site than Timberlane for some of the challenges that I've seen. Immediately, I thought the challenges there were the topography of the land. It's quite a pretty serious slope there, availability of parking, other things. And I think if we're going to go down this road and build a quality facility, which I think can be done, I think I'm pretty excited about the idea of getting it done. And the Pickleball Association is really committed to doing it with their own funds, and I appreciate that. And I think if we're going to do it, we should do it in the best place possible. It's going to be the most economical and the most use to the most people. So I'm looking forward to the report we get from the planning department about that before we go further.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, for coming today.
Thank you.